Good evening and welcome back to my channel. If you're new, you're welcome. Please subscribe, and then if you're old, thank you so much. So I'll be teaching you guys how I make my Uziza soup. It's one pot soup, it's straight to the point and very easy to make and very delicious. So in my pot I have goat's meat, I have towel meat from the goats, and then I have my stock fish flakes, and then I'll just be adding my pepper that I blended with onion, and then I'll be adding crayfish. Yes, normally I use crayfish to steam my meat, and that's because, see, if you eat my soup and then you go for the meat, you will not even know when you've eaten 4 pieces of meat or 5 pieces of meat because it's so tasty. So, like most times when I eat, the meat is so bland. Like when I go to restaurants to eat, the meat is so bland that there's no taste in it. So I added my salt, like a teaspoon of salt, and then the next thing I added was my knorr cube. Yes, I use knorr, but you can use any other seasoning you want to use. You can use star Niger pot. You can use um, whichever one that you can find or that is close to you. It's fine. Just ensure you have a rich stock, because it's from the stock that you have a good soup. So ensure your seasoning is rich. That's very important. Ensure it is rich, then you can be rest assured that you would have one tasty soup or stew or whatever you are making. So for no reason, I don't know, my village would just decide to remember me. Do you know I brought out this pepper soup spice, and I don't know where I kept it. I just started looking for it everywhere in the kitchen. So I added a little bit of my pepper soup spice. Like I said, it's all about flavor. You have to build flavor. And then I added water. Now the quantity of water depends on the amount of soup you want. Do you understand? The water you should put at this point should be the amount of soup you want, and have it at the back of your mind that as you're waiting for the meat to get soft, the water is going to reduce, it's going to evaporate. So you want to add like more, like if you're going to be needing, like for example 3 cups, add 3.5 cup. That's what I mean. And so you want to ensure your meat is not completely soft, but almost soft. The reason why I don't like my meat completely soft is because over time when you put it inside the fridge, just becomes so soft, and then it doesn't go well. I really don't like it. So I love my meat halfway done. Then I added my pomo, and then I added another crayfish. Now I don't add my crayfish at once, I add my crayfish in batches. That's just me, because at every point in time I'm trying to build up the tastes. So I add my crayfish in batches. I don't just add my crayfish at once. So at this point you want to taste this stock to see if it is okay. And if it's not okay, then you want to go for salt or whatever you want to go for. I tasted it and it was okay for me at this point. And then you want to add your palm oil. Ensure you have good palm oil, because if you use bad palm oil, your soup is not going to come out well. Then I added a little bit of water because I felt the water was not enough, so I added a little bit of water. And then that's the Ofor. I do not use achi because achi makes your soup look dull, like it doesn't give it this bright color. So I love using Ofor instead. So that's Ofor I bought for 200 naira. I didn't want to plate it, so like from the cellophane bag you can tell if it's more or it's small, whichever one. But I didn't just want to plate it, so the quantity. So I think I added about half of that, and then you want to allow it to boil. So it's like after 3 minutes of boiling, you want to taste, because now one thing you should understand is that you don't have to make your food too salty, because when oil comes into your soup, that's when you now know the quantity of salt and maggi and everything. So please add your oil first before you start uh, adding extra whatever. So I added my dry fish, I added my periwinkle, and I added crayfish. Like I said earlier on, I love adding my crayfish in batches. So you notice I added the first batch while I was steaming the meat. The second batch, um, before I added the oil, or after I added the oil, and then this is the third time of me adding crayfish, and then I added more water because I just noticed um, the ingredients was more than the liquid itself, so um, I had to add more water to the soup. Like I said, you keep tasting. So because I'm spicy, so I added more um, pepper and onion, to the soup. Meanwhile, this can pass for your native soup. Yeah, it can pass for your native soup. See, this soup, it was so delicious. What I mean delicious, it was so delicious, and so you taste everything about it. You cannot cook and not taste. It's not possible. Though, yeah, if you're upcoming, yeah, you can cook and not taste, but I can cook and not taste now because like I've been cooking for how many years, so I can cook and not taste. But if you're gonna cook, of course you have to taste. So I added, I think this is the fourth time I added crayfish. So that's why you don't have to skip this video. Don't skip, like you just want to watch from the start to the end. And then I added more, you remember I added more water, and so I had to add more Ofor to, and you don't have to melt the Ofor with water before you know mixing it with your soup. Just go straight and just add it straight up, and then it will, when it boils, it will dissolve. So don't bother about having lumps of Ofor inside your soup. No, once it boils, it just melts, the Ofor, the balls of four inside the soup. So it's like after 5 minutes of boiling, you want your soup to boil. Mix up everything, let it suck out the juice from the goat meat, and let the goat meat release its own juice into the soup. Like let everything just mix. As you can see, you can tell that this soup, this soup is gonna be sweet. It's gonna be delicious. You don't need a pastor or a prophet to tell you that this soup is going to be sweet. So I think I ended up adding the 200 naira of all I bought. And this pot is a big pot. So the last but not the least, I added my Uziza. So you want to don't chop your Uziza too tiny. Not too tiny and not too big, just medium. So you also add your Uziza. Like I said, this soup is a one pot soup. It's not the soup that you have to fry this and then you mix with this. No, it's one pot soup, and I love one pot soup because I don't have to start washing plenty pots. So it's just one pot soup. So you can see this soup is looking is. You remember when I said I don't like using Ofor, Archie's Ofor. So this soup was so delicious. Please subscribe to this channel, and I thank you. Please subscribe. So just take your time, watch the video, and then make it as I have made this one. And I promise you, you keep eating the soup week in, week out. So bye bye, and I love you.